All right, everybody, it's the Working Fans Podcast Comedy Cast, and today we have a special guest, our first female comedian to the Working Fans Comedy Cast, and she is also a described Hello Kitty and cat enthusiast and a metalhead, but we're going to learn about her stand-up comedy today. Corinne Martinez, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. It's actually pronounced Corinne.
Corinne. Okay, very good. Thank you for letting me know that. All right, awesome. I prepped with my producer before this, and I said, "Am I saying this right?" He goes, "You nailed it." No, we did not. But that's okay. Corinne, thank you for doing the show. What got you into stand-up comedy?
Well, I think I've always been funny. I actually got kicked out of Japanese school. That's kind of like our version of Hebrew school on the weekends, and it was for making a lot of jokes. So, I've always been funny, but it's not until I was in college that I really wanted to pursue it, as far as like a career. So I would say I was like maybe a junior when I thought, hey, maybe I'll start going to like open mics. But since I was so close to graduation, my dad actually said, if you go down that path, I'm going to disown you.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
That really discouraged me. Yeah. And so I just didn't pursue it. I just kept getting like degree after degree after degree. I have like an associate's, then I went for my bachelor's and master's. And then it took until I got laid off, like in 2015, from a job and just a lot of personal problems. I thought, I have nothing to lose. I'm going to go to an open mic. So that's how I got started. Was pretty much just out of pure sadness and desperation. And I got a beer. Everybody back then, bars were open. Everybody who finished their 5 minutes got a beer.
What a great story. A story of sadness that led to comedy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you got a beer. That's great.
Right, I got a beer. Yeah.
That's so funny. I was telling you before, we interview like pro wrestlers too. And when they start, the saying is in the beginning, I got a hot dog and a handshake. So you got a beer.
I got a beer, yeah.
Now let me ask you: is your stand-up routine similar to your own personality?
It is. I'm not like one of those people. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Gilbert Gottfried can't talk like that. He would like own stock in all of the throat lozenges. So it's just me, but I would say like amplified. Like even when my own parents, they've never seen me up until 2020 because they refused to go to bars. That's where I mostly was. But they've seen me on Zoom, and my dad was like, "Wow, you're funny, and you also have a lot of self-confidence. I didn't recognize you." But he also said, "I don't appreciate you making fun of me." And I said, "I told you I'd get you back for being mean to me, as a kid and growing up and being so harsh." So I at least don't use his real name. So
That's awesome.
And I got married, so we have different names now. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so you've done Zoom. Have you done some of the virtual comedy? And if so, how has that been?
The first one I did was August of 2020. It was actually for a benefit show for Black Lives Matter and Indigenous persons who were affected by COVID. So at first I was pretty scared because I thought I'm used to being on stage. I don't know how that's going to work, but I actually like them. I know a lot of comedians say, "Oh, I hate the Zoom. I need to walk around and go back and forth or do some crowd work." But, I've learned to adapt, and I actually really like it. I don't have to drive really far or, get dressed up. So I personally like it. I think some of the older comedians, who maybe been doing it for like 25 years, I noticed just on social media they have a hard time adapting, but I like it. And I know some comedians who just got started and they only know Zoom. One guy said, I'm gonna have to tape my set to people's faces.
That's interesting. That's interesting though that you like are really excelling at that. And I think that's right. You know what? So yeah, maybe the people that have been around and are experienced and probably normally really good, they might struggle though, because this is something totally different. So that's interesting.
Right. Yeah. And then like a lot of them are complaining, we're not getting paid. And I thought, yeah, but you're still getting exposure. I mean, I've been doing Zoom shows since August, like, nonstop. And I like it. I mean, it's boosted my Instagram. I just got on Instagram like Christmas and I already have like 220 or something. So I think it's from the shows, when they say, oh, follow this comedian, on Instagram or Twitter, because it's not like I pay for those people. I don't have any money.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, we're talking about promotion now, and I'm like trying to get price points, and I'm like, all right, we'll get back to you.
Right.
So would you say, because I've talked to a few comedians now, and I know this is something that is the end game a lot of times, have you found your voice as a comic right now, you think?
Not really. Even though I've been doing stand-up since 2015, it's been mostly, like I say, off and on. It's been mostly off because I did like a lot of bar shows, and I would say I was active in like the open mic scene in 2016. Then in 2017, because of the job that I actually have now, I'm a healthcare worker. I work 7 days a week. So I quit for a while, only because my husband wasn't a fan. Bar shows can be rough. Like, I hadn't had anything thrown at me, but I just had some hecklers. I shut them down. It's not like I just let them talk about me, but it's just he took it so personally. He actually got thrown out of a bar because he wanted to fight one guy and he wanted to deport one woman. And it was like, so, but then I really missed it. And I got back into it, like I would say 2019, went back to doing open mics. Then my cat son, Garfield, got really sick and he racked up like $4,000 worth of medical bills. So then I was working even more. I know, on top of the 7 days, I just said, I'll take people's shit. I need to pay off my credit card bill. So I was working like, I don't even know how many, I think it was 60 hours a week. And my boss was like, are you okay? You're going to burn out. And I said, I have bills. Give me more work.
Great source of comedy.
Yeah, I paid it off. And then I actually thought I'm going to quit because I was so depressed, because he was my son in all intents and purposes, until I got a call in August, which I couldn't even believe someone remembered me. She's like, I remember you. I thought, how? I haven't accomplished anything, but it's for a good cause. And when I saw that, I thought, wow, I'm honored, because a lot of them were, famous. And I thought, well, they won't like me. She's like, it's okay. You're only doing 5 minutes. They're doing 30. We will accommodate you.
That's
awesome. It was like a variety show. They had dancing, poetry. So they didn't introduce me as world famous. They just said, she's been doing stand-up for a while or something like that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can definitely relate to that.
A lot of money.
That's awesome. Yeah. I can relate to that 7 days a week. I'm in the same boat, I have a little small business, and when you're doing something like a podcast or you're doing something like stand up or, you're a musician, it's really got to be a passion for the most part, right? I mean, it's not something that initially, unless you're really good or lucky, you ain't making a ton of money at this,
Right. Yeah. Because one, I don't want to say his name, but he's been doing stand up for like 25 years. And I was actually a fan. Now I'm performing too. So that's how I'm his Facebook friend. He said, how are you surviving? And I mentioned it's because I have a real job. I said,
Right.
otherwise, I don't know. I probably have to go home and live with my parents. I'm not sure. Because he just
Mm,
said, how are you surviving just doing Zoom shows? And I said, well, I'm lucky, I work 7 days, so I always
yeah.
have some money. Yeah. And
Exactly.
until the bills take it.
Right. Right.
Uh,
um, who are I don't know if it's changed now that you're in comedy, but who are some of your favorite comedians? Who are people you really like love their work?
I really like Sebastian Maniscalco. He's one of my favorites, and Dave Chappelle. Um, I just I can't do his energy. Sebastian, he's just all over the place. That's just not me. But I just really appreciate the physicality of his
Hmm.
comedy. I thought if I wasn't lumpy, and maybe if I was got started years ago, I might, but I don't know. I just stand pretty much in one spot, and I thought maybe that's why Zoom's working out for me. I
Right.
never really moved too much, except once when I thought someone was going to throw a bottle. I couldn't get the mic out of the stand, and people thought it was funny. I was panicking, and I just carried it with me because they were there was no social distancing, and she was like, "You are terrible." I don't know. She thought I was talking about Indian people from India, and I don't know what I said. I think I was mocking their food's too spicy. She acted like she's all of India, but she was too drunk. She couldn't follow it. But she was just like, "I will get you." And I said, "Aren't they supposed to be Gandhi lovers? Aren't they supposed to be, like peaceful? What's going on?" And uh,
Now,
yeah, that's
isn't
only
that
time for violence. Yeah.
it's kind of funny, like how many people stumble into comedy shows that don't really seem to understand that, like this is going to be humor and we're making fun of stuff, and that's okay. That's part of it. But there's a lot of people, otherwise there wouldn't be hecklers, that don't seem to actually get that.
No, she actually, I don't know what she thought it was. Maybe she was just there for wing night. I have no idea. But she sat there with her arms crossed, didn't like anybody's set. But then somebody said to me, "You really got to her because she actually made noise." One guy said, "I thought she was like a mannequin."
um, have you done any other improv or any acting or anything too? Like, have you had experience on stage before you got to comedy?
I actually took improv classes in 2016. Yeah, and then up until 2017, because I thought that's what you were supposed to do for comedy. I didn't even know you could take comedy classes. But then
Uh-huh.
all the feedback I got was that you're too jokey. You're not a team player. That like you want
Hmm.
the spotlight for yourself. And I said,
Hmm.
"Yeah, I know." So then I kind of stopped doing it. I had no idea you could go to Flappers and take comedy classes, which I'm doing now. I just
Hmm.
thought that you started with improv, and I actually have been in two commercials. They're on YouTube
Oh, nice.
for Mrs. Hatfield's Salsa, and that was like 2013. But I'm just like a background person. They said we need comedians, and so I actually was writing for a comedian, and so that's how I got to be involved. I said that I'm not really a comedian. I'm just always at shows, and so that's how I got invited, which was great because one of the comedians, he froze, and I couldn't believe it. I thought he's always on stage, but I guess with the camera crew following us, he just, so they had to leave him, and they said, "Okay, you're going to get a speaking part now." I
Hmm.
was like, "Wow, what am I going to get paid?" Nothing. I got a hot dog. Literally, I got a hot dog and some of that salsa. But I was happy. I thought I'm going to be on TV.
You sound like a team player to me. You get a hot dog, you're happy. You're getting a beer, you're happy. I
Yeah,
mean, what do they want?
right.
I I never thought of comedy as like a team sport. I'm amazed that you would get criticized for that. I figured that's part of the idea, right? Like you want to be the spotlight. You're on stage by yourself. I don't know. That's what I always would have assumed.
Maybe I was in the wrong improv. I don't know. So that's why I quit. And plus, they're charging me, so I thought I want to save my money for, something.
Right. Now, I'll ask you this, and then we'll talk about maybe any upcoming shows you got in promotion. But first thing I'm going to ask you, what would you say is like the weirdest place you've ever done comedy?
The weirdest place. Nothing really weird. I mean, just they've just been bar shows, bars. Yeah, that's it. Most of the shows I've done have been COVID.
Okay. So those are the weirdest shows, but you've adapted really well. So
yeah, well, I guess the first one I did I would consider weird, because not necessarily because it was at a bar, but I think it was one of the bartenders wanted to give a try, and she got so scared when she was, at the stage, if you can call it a stage, she fainted. She actually just like hit her head, face down. And at first I thought she was, getting woozy, like it's part of her act. So I felt like I guess a female dick, because I was like, yay, I was trying to encourage her because she's a female. But then when somebody goes, bitch down, and I thought, oh my God, and then I'm a healthcare worker. So I thought, should I help her? But I thought, nah, because I'm up next. So I thought, I don't have CPR tattooed. For all I know, I could be an unemployed bum. I mean, I have a Slipknot T-shirt, so I didn't look professional. They carried her away. She was fine. They removed her in the bathroom. That's what I threw water on her. She lived.
She's going to be all right. You had a set to do. You did the right thing.
Yeah, my husband said, are you going to help her? And I said, no. She's on her own.
This is a lot of fun. Is there anything you want to promote coming up, and any social media? Go right ahead.
So I have a show this Saturday, the 16th, 8 p.m. Pacific time. It's through Dow Comedy Studio. It's called You Had to Be There. So I'm one of 7 comedians. And then it's $5 a household. Oh, no, wait, I screwed it up. $5 a person or $10 a household. So what you do is you Venmo at Bobby, Bobbie, and then hyphen Oliver, Oliver. Then you email Dow, so that's TAO, Comedy Studios at gmail.com. Then they'll send you the Zoom link. That's to avoid getting like dick bombed, which happened to me at an open mic on January 6th. I didn't see it, because I'm on my phone, but I could just hear people making noise. And they're, how awful. And I thought it was my set. So I just kept going. I thought, I don't care. It's an open mic. I've got 4 more minutes. And then
good for you.
I'm going to be at Flappers Comedy Club, Uncle Klein's Comedy Contest. So that's on Wednesday, February 3rd. I have to actually go to Flappers on site, but everyone can vote through Zoom. So I have to actually read more about how that works. I just know I have to be there socially distanced.
Okay.
Well, so they can film us.
Hit me up on social media. We'll promote it for you too. We'll help out. So just when you get the information.
Okay, and then I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at comedian Corinne, COMEDIAN, no space, and then CORINNE, and then Instagram comedian COMEDIAN with the underscore CORINNE. And that's all I have for now. I'm not on like everything. I don't have a YouTube yet. I'm slowly getting there.
Well, it sounds like you're doing all right. You're very personable. I thank you for doing the show, and we will help promote you any way we can. And maybe we can do it again sometime. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay, you too.
Bye.